So one of the questions that I've been getting asked recently, quite a bit actually, is Secular Opinion. We love your videos, but you're just giving us tidbits. Where do we go when we want a heap and helping of some Vaughn insanity? And I thought this was a perfect opportunity to give a little bit of a shout out to a few channels that are carrying the torch, so to speak, keeping the good fight going and archiving the nuttiness that is Vonhelton. I mean, there's some OGs out there that have been making videos for a while that you guys probably already know. There's Mute the Bozo, Dreadbeat Vampire, Father Judgment's got some stuff, Lobster, all those. I'm sure I'm forgetting some people, but I mean, there's all the old players. They're still around doing stuff here and there. But a couple channels that I would recommend if you just can't get enough would be Irv Ruined His Own Life. He's got quite an archive going over there and some newer stuff up to last year at least. And Vaughn News Network. So check out those two channels. I've been sifting through. Actually, I was looking at Vaughn News Network, and I found some clips I kind of want to do some reactions to. And I was skimming through, and I saw this one where Vaughn claims that he called upon the four winds to fight back the Mexican caravans at the border. So, excuse me, but yeah, that. So, anyways, we'll get into that kind of stuff later. But here I am. I'm over back at BitChute, and I'm just checking out. And this is where Vaughn posts his, politically angled, Trump supporting, liberal hating, let's shoot all the brown people videos, right? And his pagan stuff. So I was just kind of like sifting through and seeing if there's anything that I could maybe get caught up on. To be honest, I don't really watch a lot of Vonhelton anymore. And just a note going forward with the channel, yes, we'll still be doing some Vonhelton stuff, and we're definitely tracking some other stuff that's going on. I want to deal with that in a different video series. But I want to do some different stuff too. My creative itch is kind of. Did I say that right? My creative itch is, well, you get the idea. I just kind of want to try some different stuff. But I mean, yeah, we'll be coming back to Vaughn once in a while. But right now, he's kind of boring. Other than the new haircut, but again, that's a topic for another day. So I was just kind of going through here, and I just want to point out something I thought was kind of funny. Is like as I'm kind of scrolling through this, wedged in between his back padding, I was right videos. I'm going through and I see this one, scientists want to kill us again, and I was like, oh, I got to do something on this. So maybe I will. I haven't even watched it yet, but I just thought it was humorous because I mean, once again, unaccountable atheists have figured out a way to kill us all. But this time, it's not just a theory. They intend to do this in just days. And look at the date of the video. So I think we're all safe. This actually reminds me, you guys, anybody that's been around for a while, you remember when Vaughn was literally screaming and ranting for a week at everybody that the emergency broadcast signal was actually an Illuminati death ray or something that was going to come through your fucking toasters and shit. For a week, he was screaming at everybody, when Sunday comes, unplug all your devices, unplug all your electronics, don't, stay away, turn out the lights, cut the power to your house because they're going to emit this death signal. And he was wringing his hands with glee, tugging his chin whiskers at the prospect that this would wipe out all the trolls, haters, and naysayers, right? And then that Sunday, when it comes, the motherfucker does like a 6-hour blog TV podcast and doesn't even mention it. But anyways, good old times, right? The glory days. But actually, I saw this one here, and it's like, shoot them yourself. Well, yourselves, sorry. And I look here, and it's a 12-minute video. It's not too bad. And I thought, yeah, okay, what is he ranting about gun control? What is it? And then I thought, with everything that's going on in the media right now, I mean, I do want to do a video kind of touching on that, but I kind of have a different angle, and it's kind of a sensitive thing, Not that I think we should be self-censored. I think it's an important conversation, but I mean, is it really something I want to do like a Vonhelton parody over? Because I think it's a serious topic. But I checked it out just to, for the sake of it. I said, I'll check it out. Spoiler alert, it's not about gun control per se. I mean, it has this thin veil of a gun control topic of self-defense, but it's not. It's just a video about him ranting. He's basically advocating for a law that'll allow the average citizen to play judge, jury, and executioner on the side of the road. He wants this law passed where citizens can just shoot Muslims on sight, basically. So I thought, maybe we'll scroll through this. So that's right, and just so there's no confusion, he does use the terms Muslim, terrorist, and criminal interchangeably. right? So really, it's just these are just code words for brown people. I want to make that clear. But I'm gonna let Vaughn do the talking. I don't want to put words in his mouth. So that's enough of me rambling. We're gonna watch Vaughn fight for your right to shoot Muslims on sight. Let's get into it.
Your organization is against gun control?
Gun control is for wimps and commies. Listen, let's get one thing straight. Guns don't kill people. I do.
Yes, well.
Okay, so I've already babbled for about 5 minutes worth of this video just in the intro, so I'm going to let Vaughn do most of the talking. It is a 12-minute video. I have skimmed through it and watched quite a bit of it. I haven't watched it right through to the end, but I'll try to keep my points fairly short, and so we can just move on through this. But I do want to point out right off right off the bat here, federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This infringement of copyright is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody. So with all that out of the way, I'm going to turn the volume up here. Just hopefully it's not too loud. Away we go.
Well, folks, I'll tell you what, you know that you've got a problem when even socialist, former communist countries and, even left-leaning countries are saying that we have a problem.
I love how he throws them all into the same basket. It starts out with communist, socialist, because of course, those are exactly the same thing. And then even left-leaning. So even if you're left-leaning, you're thrown into that camp. But what I actually stopped to point out is, what the hell's up with his chin beard? Like, did he just roll out of bed or something and make... whatever. Moving ahead.
When you see countries like that saying they have a problem, that is a game changer. I don't care how you spin it. That is a game changer, because I get it all the time. Oh, well, Vaughn's exaggerating. Vaughn's making it up. Vaughn's Islamophobic. Vaughn's an idiot. Vaughn's this. Vaughn's that.
He is.
I get it all the time. But when you see former Soviet Union countries say we've got a problem, and that problem is Islam, well, then that's a game changer, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it is.
I've pointed this out before, but isn't it interesting over the last couple of years how Vaughn's attitude towards like Russia and China and these like dictatorships, he's almost done a 180, I guess. Almost said 360, but he's done a total reversal. I mean, remember back in the day, the Cold War vet days, when he could have been face to face with Putin, the Cold War ninja stuff. And then all of a sudden he became sympathetic. Now, some people would point out, well, he's a big Trump supporter, and since, Trump is his golden god, and his golden god has been holding basically Putin's balls out of the way so he can shit all over the West, maybe that has something to do with it. But I have a different theory. I've talked about it before. Maybe we'll touch on it again, but I just find it interesting. Just put that in your pocket, folks. Just put that in your pocket.
It's a real game changer. And so without further ado, let's get into it.
Now we're going to skip this crappy opening. If it does it. Well, it seems that I have broken the internet.
Alrighty, folks. I'm at the Independent, and you can read it for yourself. Read it with me. Czech government tells its citizens how to fight terrorists. Shoot them yourselves.
I believe that's Czech.
Or as we would say here in the United States, shoot the bastards. Now this is from a former Soviet Union country. Basically, I mean, that's basically what they're saying. Shoot the bastards, You see a terrorist, he's getting ready to blow up a church or a skyscraper or whatever, you shoot his ass. And so the Czech government has had a monumental moment of clarity, realizing, hey, we let all these terrorists, these Muslims, into our country, and they're blowing up our shit. And so now the Czech government is doing a complete 180 from what everybody else is doing, which is taking everybody's guns. Hello, New Zealand. Yeah, so what's the Czech government do? No, they're giving guns to their citizens, and they're telling them you shoot the son of a bitches if you see them.
You know, just like when you're out, just happen to be walking, and you're like, look, there's a terrorist. He's about to blow up a skyscraper. Quick, shoot them.
Period. And I think that is a fucking outstanding thing to do. I think that's fucking outstanding. And I applaud the Czech government for actually having a monumental moment of clarity here when faced with an ideology that wants to kill us. See, that's the thing that just absolutely irks the fuck out of me, is that people will defend an ideology whose sole goal in life, if you will, is to kill us and take over the fucking world. I don't want to die. I don't want the world taken over. Thank you very fucking much.
Now, I'm not here to defend Islam. I mean, I have my own problems with it. I mean, there's a reason I'm not a Muslim, right? But, but I don't think that we can just interchange the term terrorist and Muslim that freely. I mean, these people who are American citizens, I mean, I'm not getting into a refugee versus immigrant versus, because guess what? There's white Muslims too, right? Like, they have constitutional rights to the freedom of their faith. And, I don't want to turn this into a whole thing about what Islam is or isn't, but just to put it in perspective, we're talking about a man who claims he has studied the religion for a number of years, but can't even say the name of their holy book correctly. Right? I'm just putting that out there. Anyways, moving on.
But yet you get these idiots, and I'm calling it, they're idiots, who will actually get out and defend something that wants to kill you, take all your shit, and enslave your children. I don't want that shit in my country. I don't want that in my country. No, I don't. I don't want that shit in my country. And so the Czech government, and I suspect more to follow, I really do. New Zealand went in the opposite direction like a bunch of idiots. But I see other countries following suit. I really do. You can't have people in your country that want to kill you. Okay, you can't. All right, you can't do that. All right. Now we've seen in Sri Lanka here just recently, where a whole bunch of churches were literally blown to hell, no pun intended, by Muslims. Where's the outcry? Oh, there isn't. There was outcry when a mosque was shot up by a disgruntled New Zealander whose own government said, yeah, we're going to let Muslim terrorists come in and take over the country. And the fucking New Zealander's like, no, fuck this shit. And he grabbed a gun and he shot up a mosque. Okay? And now...
Yeah, you're hearing that right. Vonhelton right now is actually defending a guy who went in and shot. Now, keep in mind, these were not terrorists. Okay, I doubt very much the New Zealand government said, yes, we're going to let in a bunch of Muslim terrorists. No, the guy went to a mosque and shot innocent people praying. Like, you don't have to agree with the faith. I don't agree with Islam. There's lots of things I don't like about the religion. But I mean, these are just people worshiping their God. And listen, how is it that someone like me who identifies as an atheist can show more empathy to people just praying to their God? Now, I've heard this argument, why are they reporting on this and not, these other 100 tragedies that happened last week? Well, I think it's more because the shooting in the mosque was on the heels of that shooting of the Jews, right, at their place of worship. So it was relevant. It was a relevant news story that tied into the narrative that just happened in the United States. So, of course, they're going to pick up on that story. But I digress. Let's keep moving. But I just can't believe that the guy is blatantly, Like, this is the problem, people. You know, it's not a gun control issue. Anybody that's watched me talk about this before, yes, I'm more left leaning on the issue, but I've never advocated for people not to have the right to bear arms or to take guns away from people, or necessarily that it's a gun control issue. It's a bigger problem, and you're looking at it. This is a piece of the puzzle right here, this attitude. But anyways, let's keep going. Oh, and my internet's gonna go slow again. We'll be right back after these messages.
I was on the fucking news for weeks, but churches in Sri Lanka get blown to hell, and we don't hear a peep out of the major media. Well, gee, I wonder why. I wonder why, folks. You know, this is bullshit. This cannot be allowed to continue. And the Czech government realizes it can't be allowed to continue, and so now they have armed their citizens and said, you shoot the bastards. I mean, that's basically what they're saying. So I think this is a moment of clarity. I think this is a wonderful plan, and I see more Baltic state countries in particular following suit. I really do. I mean, every test we've done here in America where the citizenry was armed, crime went down, not up. Crime went down. Why? Because criminals don't want to get shot, dummy. Duh.
Again, not to turn this into a gun control debate or anything, but years ago when I did do a gun control video where we had to talk about this, I actually brought up the point that both sides of the debate actually bullshit about these statistics all the time. You know, people that are pro-gun, I shouldn't say people, but interests that are pro-gun have always tried to use statistics to say what Vaughn just said, that when people, the citizenry is more armed, that crime goes down. Likewise, other people on the other side of the debate have tried to bring out statistics to show that's not true. That actually crime goes up because guns are more available to criminals. The American Academy of Science actually did their own independent bipartisan a review of the studies in their own studies actually, and found that it's bullshit. It doesn't matter how many guns or how little guns you have. It's actually other social economic problems that contribute to the rise and fall of crime, not necessarily how many guns. I mean, you can have all kinds of guns, but if you live in a happy society, you're not going to have much violent crime. Like, that's just a fact. But anyways, moving on.
Criminals don't want to get shot. So when you have an armed society that isn't afraid to use their guns and blow a motherfucker away, the criminals go elsewhere. They go someplace else. They go where there's a place where there's a gun-free zone. Hello, liberals. I'm talking to you. And so the criminals all go to the gun-free zones and leave us conservatives alone. Why? Because we're packing heat. That's why. Because we're armed to the fucking teeth. That's why. And they leave us the hell alone. Now me, I'd just prefer to just use magic and pop them like a fucking zit. But that's, personal preference.
Yeah, you just heard that right. So why don't you, Vaughn? Why don't you call the four winds and just push all the Muslims out?
I mean, I'm no stranger to weapons. Anyway, the point is, though, is that, the Czech government, and I suspect others to follow, has finally had a monumental moment of clarity here, and they're arming their citizens and say, you see the motherfuckers, you shoot the son of bitches. Isn't it interesting that China basically has the same idea? Shoot the bastards. I mean, if you see somebody going to blow up a building, shoot his ass. If you see somebody going to blow up a church, shoot them. If you see them trying to take hostages, you shoot the motherfucker. Shooting these people and putting them under the soil where they belong is a good thing. That is a good thing. But Vaughn, there might be accidents. There might be some innocent people that get shot. That's true. But when you figure that one of these suicide bombers can kill hundreds, if not thousands of people, the idea that one person might be accidentally shot in the arm or even in the neck, okay, sorry. When you got one person versus thousands of people, you really don't have much choice in the matter. If I see somebody getting ready to blow up a building, I'm gonna shoot the son of a bitch. I am, and then I'll take my chances in court later. Why? Because I just saved thousands of fucking people's lives. I shot the motherfucker before he could set up his bomb, and everybody's alive now. And that's a good thing. And even the most liberal judge on the planet should be able to understand that if I kill a terrorist before he sets off the bomb, that everybody's alive. Even the most liberal judge should understand that, I would hope.
Okay, so this is a perfect exposition of the comic book reality guys like Vonhelton live in, right? They think that if just everybody has a gun, the good guys are going to jump up fully, like they're going to Gary Stu it, right? They're going to just totally be trained and jump into. This is the scenario, right? This is a typical scenario that guys like Vonhelton have running through their brain. Okay, picture it. It's a typical setup, right? Picture it. Vonhelton. 1988. He's got the trench coat on. He's got the skull on. Walks into a convenience store, gets something cold to drink, maybe some Mountain Dew, maybe some Reese's Pieces to chew on while he's patrolling the neighborhood looking for demons or whatever. Right? Walks to the back to the freezer of the convenience store. Then he hears something. Here's a kerfuffle happening up at the front. He spins around and looks. He sees two men, both in green army jackets and ski masks. One's got a gun pointed at the teller, who's nervously shuffling money into a brown paper bag, while the other holds a knife to the female attendant's throat, talking about all the dirty things he's going to do to her. Well, Vonhelton, he knows what to do. He rolls down, ducks behind the candy bar aisle, pops his eyes over. He scans. He does an ocular pat-down and assesses the situation. Then, without hesitation, he rolls forward, up, draws back the trench coat, draws out the weapon, and just like popcorn, pop, 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 3 shots. First shot into the guy's arm, holding the gun out towards the teller. His arm drops. The gun falls to the ground. Bang, second shot, right through the neck. Third shot, the guy holding the knife, right between the eyes. And just like that, motherfucker, they all drop like a bag of Kentucky Redskins. That's what's going through his mind, right? But the reality is, like, can you imagine? First of all, if an armed Vonhelton doesn't scare you people, like, I mean, I'm not against gun control. I'm not against people protecting themselves, but I'm a little scared of guys like Vonhelton having a gun. Because, first of all, I don't think he'd do shit. I mean, if he was in, for example, a dark movie theater in Colorado when that shit went down, I think he would have shit his pants and hid under the seat. But let's just, for a second, give him the benefit of the doubt and say he would have actually showed. And don't get me wrong, I commend people that step up and be the hero. But, I mean, you do not want guys like Vonhelton aimlessly shooting around a fucking dark movie theater or something like that. Here's a more likely scenario, okay? Vonhelton is down at the Manchester fucking Walmart, standing out front with his arm full of new hot rod acquisitions, Hot Wheels, I should say, and waiting for his mother to come around and pull up in her air-conditioned vehicle because he's too fucking lazy to walk. And then he sees it out of the corner of his eye, a brown man walking with a package. Von doesn't hesitate. He's going to be preemptive. He's going to stop the bloodshed before it even happens. He pulls out his gun, shoots the guy. Turns out the dude was just picking up a package from UPS that's found inside Walmart, right? But I mean, even the most liberal judge would say, Vonhelton, you were just trying to stop a crime before it started. Hits the guy bailiff, let him go. That's exactly how it would play out, right, people?
I would hope that there is some kind of brain matter out there that understands that if you kill the terrorist before he sets off his bomb, people will still be alive. Wow, what a concept that is. So, there we are. So I applaud the Czech government. I can't stress enough how I applaud the Czech government for finally doing what we conservatives here in America have said all along. If you arm a society, you have a polite society. An armed society is a polite society. We've said this from day one. We've been saying it for hundreds of years, literally for hundreds of years. And we still maintain it to this very day. An armed society is a polite society.
I still can't get over how much ass kissing he's been doing of like former Soviet and these communists. He's supposed to be Mr. Anti-Communist, right? But he's been doing a lot of ass kissing And I put out a theory about that a little while ago, and I think there was a trigger flipped in Vaughn. I mean, I know it's an out there theory, but I'm just going to say it. I think Vaughn's a sleeper. I really do. I think that the turning point really was when Putin sang Blueberry Hill. And I think that when Vaughn did his karaoke, that was something was triggered. There was a call and response there. I think he's a Manchurian candidate. I think he's been switched, ladies and gentlemen. I think something happened during the Cold War. I think maybe there was a meeting, but we can talk about that another day. But I mean, it's just such a flip flop. I mean, I remember the good old days when it was okay to punch a Nazi in the face and the Russians were the bad guys. Whatever happened to that?
If you see a fucking terrorist getting ready to set off a suicide bomb, shoot the motherfucker. Kill his ass. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is a wonderful opportunity for other Baltic states to follow suit. And like I said, China's already implemented this. And it's working quite well. And now the Czech Republic is doing it. Like I said, New Zealand went the opposite direction and took their people's guns, which was utterly stupid. But the Czech government is actually doing what's right and arming their citizens to protect themselves. Folks, you have an inherent right, a basic, fundamental, inherent right to protect yourself, your family, and even your country and your home. Okay? That is a fundamental right.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I think I do agree with him. I think that I do believe rights are given. He's going to disagree that by the government that they are. But I'm just saying I do think that people should have a right to defend themselves. But that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about being judge, jury, and executioner and making a decision on a situation before it even happens. Now here on the surface, the argument seems almost commonsensical. Yeah, if you see someone about to kill some bunch of people, yeah, do what you can to stop them. But I mean, do you really trust Vonhelton? See, that's the thing. I don't want guys like Vonhelton making those decisions, right? Because he's talking about. You notice he keeps jumping between terrorist and Muslim, right? So where are we drawing the line? Like, what is a terrorist? I mean, just because someone's a Muslim, well, Vaughn would have this solution. Remember, here's the context. Here's the pretext that we're dealing with here, people. Just to put it all into focus here. So Von Helton's answer would be, well, yeah, we should deport all the brown people, all the Middle Eastern people, all the people who might be Muslims, build a wall, stop them from coming in. That way, as soon as you see a brown person wearing a scarf or something, or just looks suspicious, shoot them because chances are they're a Muslim and they're a terrorist. That's his logic. Ay. Anyways, moving right along.
Okay, no government, no institution, no potentate, no dictator, nobody has the right to take that away from you. That is a right that comes from above. It is your right to protect yourself, your family, your home, and your country. That is an inherent right. I believe it's from the gods, but for you atheists out there that don't believe in gods, well, make up something. I don't give a fuck. Anyway, the point is it doesn't come from government. That's the point. So, yes. This is a great day for, I believe, all of the Baltic states, because I see all the Baltic states following suit. Okay, I do. I see them following suit. So this is a great day for the Baltic area. Hell, I might even consider moving there. Now that I see this happening, I might actually consider moving there.
So check this out. This puts it in perspective. So it's not. Ivan would actually turn his back on the states, move to one of these places, which, by what he's saying, is having a problem with the people that he hates. But he would move there just because they would let him shoot them. So he would put himself in that situation just for a chance to shoot brown people. That's basically what he's saying right now. Wow. So he's defended a mass shooter who shot innocent people praying at a place of worship so far in this video. And now he's saying he would freely move somewhere that has a worse problem with Muslim extremists, quote unquote, just for the chance to get in there and shoot them. Yeah. This is what we're dealing with, folks.
Because somebody has a brain, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. We need a moment of clarity, okay, in this troubled world. We need a moment of clarity. And by golly, this is it. This is definitely a moment of clarity. So, but anyways, I just thought I'd report on this and let you all see it for yourselves. I think it's wonderful. And I hope everybody else follows suit. And then listen, if these people can't fulfill their agenda of taking over our countries, they'll leave on their own accord. They'll leave all by themselves. Cause, well, fuck, we can't take over this country, so we're out of here. You know,
Did you ever think, Vaughn, that maybe, just maybe, some of those people move because they don't want to live under that kind of theocracy and regime, and they just want a better life and live like you or me or anybody else? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not so naive as to think that there aren't those types of people that come over as well from all kinds of walks of life and creeds and religions. But, I mean, come on, man. Come on.
ban the Quran, ban Sharia, ban minarets. And if the motherfuckers try to blow up something, you shoot their ass. And they'll leave on their own. They'll go back to the Middle East where they come from. They won't stay. Okay? So this is a good...
Well, what about the white Muslims? What about the people that have converted to Islam? I agree. I don't like Sharia law, but guess what? There's already laws in the U.S. and Canada and these places. So if Sharia law contradicts those laws that protect human rights, yes, it's the government. It's not going to fly. You're already protected. But to ban their holy book, that's unconstitutional. I mean, by the very constitution that you constantly rant and rave that you live by when it comes to your use of guns, you seem to throw out the window when it comes to other people. And he's making very obvious, he's not talking about the white Muslims. He's talking about people. He says Muslims go. He's talking about them as if they're a race, as if they're like it's ethnic racism is really what it is. But anyways, I've rambled enough. Let's keep going.
Good thing. I think this is a start of something very amazing here. It's too bad that New Zealand though went the opposite direction. That's a shame, and that shouldn't have happened, but it did, sadly. Anyways, that's going to do it for me, so I'm going to get out of here. Y'all have a pleasant day, and
that's it. Well, boys and girls, like I said, I don't want to rant on about my positions on the on what's going on out there right now. And like I said, it is a heated environment with everything that's going on in the news right now. And I don't mean it that way, but this, as far as I'm concerned, this video isn't about gun control or defending yourself. This is just brazen ethnic racism. He's just, let's put it in perspective. This is a man who's made videos calling for the genocide of Muslims before. In fact, that's why he got his wrist slapped on YouTube. It wasn't trolls or haters or anything like that. He was even making videos going so far as to saying that he was recommending dipping your fucking knives, arrowheads, and bullets in pig's blood, so when you killed them, they would go to hell. Right? This is a guy who has waved his guns around on camera and made death threats to people on the internet. This is a guy who one Christmas threatened to shoot the CPS workers and the government workers. Right? This is a guy who pulled a gun on his wife and threatened to kill her. And this is the guy that thinks he should have the right to be judge, jury, and executioner on the side of the road. Look, I'm not here to preach about gun control or all those things, but there's a problem. Right? And unfortunately, there's way too many guys like this. And this bullshit that you got a bunch of Vonheltons armed in public. Look at Texas, what just happened. In Texas Walmart, you're telling me there was people that weren't carrying guns? You know? But again, that's a topic for another day. I don't want to get sidetracked with that. This is bullshit. This is just blatantly him pleading a case for ethnic genocide. You know? Kick them all out. And if you see any more, left over, shoot them. And he's even talking about moving to a country that has more of these people, but they allow you to shoot them, and he loves it. Oh, Vonhelton. Anyways, this has been long enough. What, about half hour now? Thank you for tuning in and watching. Until next time.